guys, it's me, Ashol the Brilliant, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be solving the first exercise of the first chapter of the 10th grade Punjab textbook math. And thanks for all your support. I just wanted to say that I love you guys, and without further ado, let's get into our video. So today, we're going to be doing exercise 1.1. And this is the first exercise in the chapter of the 10th grade Math Punjab textbook, which is Introduction to Quadratic Equations. And the first exercise, exercise 1.1, this exercise has 3 questions, and each of the questions have parts. And we're going to be starting off with the first. And what the first question, its a statement, is what it asks us to do is that it asks us to write the equations, the quadratic equations, in standard form and point out the pure quadratic equations. So I'm going to write question number 1 now. So question number 1, part number 1. So the first part is x plus 7 into x minus 3 equals minus 7. So this is the first part, and it's fairly easy actually. As you can see, all we have to do is simple multiplication. You see x with x. When we multiply x with x, we get x squared. Then we multiply x with minus 3, and doing so we get minus 3x. And then next up is 7x. When we multiply 7x, you could say actually 7 and x, I'm already multiplying it in my head, plus 7x, because there's a plus sign over here. Both of them have the plus sign, positive sign, so it's going to be plus 7x. And next 7 with minus 3, and when we multiply it with minus 3, it'll be minus 21 equals minus 7. Now, since we want it in standard form, and we can see that it's a quadratic equation, you can see right here there's a square, and since there's a square of the variable, that means that it's a quadratic equation. And now, like, we want it in standard form, and to do that, we need everything on one side and 0 on like the other side. You know, there's one side that's empty. So for that, we're gonna move minus 7 to the other side, because x squared is positive over here. You can see it's positive, and we want it to keep it that way. We don't want negative x squared, because then we'd have to take all these things to the other side to get x squared positive if it was minus x squared over here. Anyway, solving it, we'll get x squared. And now you can see over here there's minus 3x and there's plus 7x. So when you solve it, you could say simplify it. You get plus 4x, as minus 3 plus 7 is 4. So we get 4x minus 21. And when minus 7 goes from the right side to the left side, its sign changes. It becomes plus 7 equals 0. So now we know we have it in standard form. Now we just need to simplify this. Now you can see that minus 21 and plus 7 can be simplified, so we're going to simplify them, and we're going to get x squared plus 4x minus 14 equals 0, as 21 minus 7 is 14. So now you can see right here, this is the standard form of our quadratic equation, and that means that step 1 is good. We're done. Now step 2 is to point out the pure quadratic equations. And what are pure quadratic equations? Let me choose some color. Let's say this. Pure quadratic equations are the quadratic equations which are like equations like this, where ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 is valid provided that b is equal to 0. And if this is the case, you know that like this will be ax squared plus b is 0. So if we put in the value of b, it's b is 0. So 0 into x plus c equals 0. So if we do it like this, then we'll get ax squared, and when 0 multiplies with x, you'll get 0x. So there's no point in writing it. So we can just say ax squared plus c equals 0. So this is the pure quadratic equations, the form, pure form of quadratic equation. You could say it's like a pure quadratic equation. And now we have to see is the value of b in this over here is circle it right here. Is it 0? No, it's not, right, guys? You can see it's not 0. So it's not a pure quadratic equation, you could say. Let's just use the red to close. So yeah, that's the first part. Now let's move on to the second part. So the second part, let's write right here, is we have x squared plus 4 over 3 minus x over 7 equals 1. Let's just move down. Yeah, so we have this. So now, what do? We can see that there are fractions involved, and since there are, we can do two things. We can either solve the fractions, the side that has the fractions, and I mean, like, if there's a fraction on one side and there's only one fraction, then we just wait until we solve the other fractions, and then we can cross multiply their denominators to get rid of the denominators. Or what we can do to get rid of the denominators of like every term is that we can get the LCM of the equation, and the LCM of the equation, it equals the product of the denominators. So the product of the, I'm just going to write D for short, but yeah, the product of the denominators. So over here, we're just going to solve the first side, but we have plenty of more times. We have uh, opportunities to use the LCM of the equation method. So right now, since we're just going to solve this, first we're going to solve the left hand side. So over here you can see there's 3 and 7, and they're like one. When you take the LCM of them, you get 21. So 21 is the LCM. And now this is the LCM, and we need to divide. Like, let me just draw. Okay, let me write 21 equals 1. So now we're solving these two. So now we need to determine what will multiply with what's it called, x squared plus 4, and what will multiply with x. So to do so, first we need to divide the LCM, which is 21, by 3, which is the first denominator. And when we divide it, 7, we get 7. 3 sevens are 21. So x squared plus 4 will multiply with 7. Yeah, and we have minus x. That bar is a little not straight, so I mean, so it's not that one. It's not really straight either, but yeah. Yeah, so next we're gonna divide 21 with 7, and when we do that, we get 3, because 7 3s are 27. So yeah, that's the LCM, 21. And now when we solve this, we're going to multiply 7 with x squared, and then we'll get 7x squared. And then we'll multiply 7 with 4, and we'll get plus 28. And we have the minus sign in the middle. And then we have 3 into x, and we'll get minus 3x over 21. And now these are still in brackets. equals 1. Now we're going to write 7x squared plus 28. And then this minus multiplies with 3x, and we'll get minus 3x. 3x is positive, we'll get minus 3x now. Over 21 equals 1. And now you can see that we have a quadratic equation. You probably already know because there was an x squared involved in the first place. But now what we're going to do is we want to get rid of the denominators. And to get rid of them, what we're going to do, basically, I mean, there's only actually one. So to get rid of the denominator, we're going to multiply everything with, actually, you could say multiply by 21 on both sides. And when we do that, this denominator will disappear from here, and it'll pop up over here, you could say. So we get 7x squared plus 28 minus 3x. I should actually rearrange that already, but let's do that in the next step. 21, and we'll multiply with this, and this equals 1 multiplied by 21, and 21 and 21 cross out, and you have 1 into 21, which, well, doesn't really make a difference, right? Like to 21. Anyway, we'll get 7x squared plus 28 minus 3x equals 21. And now, since we need it in standard form, we're going to take 21 to the other side, and we're going to rearrange it. We're going to rearrange it by taking minus 3x first, and then 28. So 7x squared minus 3x plus 28. And this 21, when it goes to the other side, its sign will change, and it'll be minus. It's plus right now, so it'll be minus. We'll get minus 21, and then we'll get like 7x squared minus 3x. And you can see that these two right here, they can be simplified. So we're going to simplify them. So 28 minus 21 is plus 7 equals 0. And again, there you have it, guys. This is the quadratic equation in standard form. Let's use those. But now let's point out if it's a pure quadratic equation or not. You can see, so like, wait a minute, let me just take right here. Now, you can see that the value of the coefficient of x, which is basically b in the generalized version, like I just showed you up there, is supposed to be 0. And if it's not 0, then that means that there's an x term, and it's a type of like counts. So over here, there is no you could say 0 with the x, right? That means that the x has some other coefficient, and if it does, then that means that it's not a pure quadratic equation. So I'm just gonna cross this right here. You can see that there is minus 3. So it's not a pure quadratic equation, but we got it in standard form. And yeah. Now, let's move on to the third part. So the third part is if we have x over x plus 1 plus x plus 1 over x equals 6, what do? We have to solve this. Again, you can see there are fractions involved, and I told you guys this time we're going to take the LCM. So let's take the LCM of the equation, and that will equal the product of the denominators. And you can see x and x plus 1 are the denominators. So x plus 1 into x is the LCM. But we're going to write x first because it's a single term. So we're going to get x into x plus 1. So there we have it. That's the LCM. And we're going to multiply this LCM with everything, or everything with this LCM, whichever way you want to call it. So we have x into x plus 1 into x over x plus 1 plus x into x plus 1 into x plus 1 over x equals 6 into x plus 1. Now you can see some things are going to cross out, like over here, x plus 1 and x plus 1 are gone, x and x are gone over here. So now what are you left with? You're left with x into x, which will get x squared, plus x plus 1 into x plus 1, which you can also write x plus 1 squared, equals, let's multiply 6 with x. So when we do that, we'll get 6x into x plus 1. Now over here on this side, we'll get x squared plus, opening this formula, we'll get x squared plus 2x into 1 plus 1 squared. And yeah, let's just solve this first. So then we have x on the 6x on the other side multiplying with x. So when 6x multiplies with x, we'll get x squared, 6x squared. And when 6x multiplies with 1, let's start from here, we'll get plus 6x. Now, first, let's just finish this formula, and then I'm going to tell you that we get over here x squared plus x squared plus 2x, because, like, you know, 1 multiplies with, this is 2 into x, which we get 2x. 2x multiplied by 1 is just 2x, plus 1 squared is 1, and yeah, that's basically it. You could say, like, we have a bracket here, equals 6x squared plus 6x. Now, you can see that these two, we're going to add 6x, what's called x squared into x squared, and we have 2x plus 1, which is just going to stand there on the sideline here. 6x squared plus 6x, and then we can simplify x squared and x squared, so we can add them up, and when we do that, we get 2x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 6x squared. And now I want you to look at this. You can see that, like, over here there are, like, bigger terms, you could say, or like the terms with bigger questions, right? Like, the 6 is greater than 2, we can tell, right? Same with, like, 6x squared, same, it's the same that goes for 6x. So over here, 6x squared is bigger, so that means that we have to move all the, like, 6x squared actually is, like, the biggest term over here right now. So that means that we have to move all the other terms to, like, the side that 6x squared is on, at least the side that where it is positive on. So now we're gonna move all these to the other side. So yeah, we'll get 0 on this side equals 6x squared. And when 2x squared goes to the other side, I'm just going to rearrange it right here. But, like, basically, it's going to be subtracted. But, like, yeah, rearranging 2x squared, since it's greater than 6x, then it comes before it. So, like, 6x squared and 2x squared, its sign is positive, it will be negative. So we get minus 2x squared plus 6x, and 2x is, you know, it was, like, smaller than 6x, so that's why I'm letting it come x. But yeah, anyway, 2x, its sign will change as well, so it'll be negative since it's positive. So it's minus 2x, and then there's -1 because this one is positive, so it'll be -1. Now we can write the 0 on the other side, like write the equal sign on this side and write 0 on this side. It doesn't really make a difference, right? Because like all the terms are on one side and 0's on the other side. So yeah. Anyway, now simplifying these two and simplifying these two, we'll get 4x squared plus 4x minus 1 equals 0. So this is our equation. So like in standard form. So now we gotta, like, it's in standard form. Now we gotta point out whether it's a pure quadratic equation or not. So it's in standard form. And for that, that like b has to be 0, and the value of b over here, what is the value of b? The value of b, let's choose this. The value of b is 4 right now, right here. Let's use this circle. So that means that it's not a pure quadratic equation. So that's the third part. And yeah, now let's move on to the next part, which is the fourth part. So the fourth part is that if we have x plus 4 over x minus 2 minus x minus 2 over x equal plus 4 equals 0, how do we solve it? So what we're gonna do is let's solve the fractions first. So solving, actually better yet, let's just take the LCM for now. The next one we'll take the fractions again. The LCM of the equation. So the LCM is equal to the product of the denominators, as you know. So x is a smaller term, so I'm going to write that first. So x into x minus 2 is going to be the LCM. And that means that we need to multiply all of these terms, these three terms, with x into x minus 2. So multiplying them with x into x minus 2, we get x into x minus 2 into x plus 4 over x minus 2, and minus, we have x into x minus 2 into x minus 2 over x, and we have minus 4, and should write in brackets, minus 4 into x minus 2 equals 0. Now, again, you can see some things can cut out, like x minus 2 over here and x minus 2 over here, and x over here and x over here. So these cut out, and you can see over here we'll get x into x plus 4, and over here we'll get minus x minus 2 whole square, because you can see like it's basically repeating, right? Like it's x minus 2 into x minus 2, so we can just write x minus 2 whole square. So yeah, then again we have oh, look at this. This was going to be a mistake. See, I missed the plus sign, but we caught it on time, and that's a good thing. But you should be more careful. But like, yeah. So next we have 4 into x. So 4x into x minus 2 equals 0. That's what we'll get right here. So now, and by the way, guys, try not to make that type of mistake. Like, it can literally spoil the whole question, and you'll not get the same result. And yeah, you can, lose your marks on the test and stuff. So try to be careful about that. Anyway, now we have x into x on this side, on over here in these two first. We have x squared. We will get x squared, and over here, x into plus 4 will get plus 4x. And then we have minus in the middle. Let's just keep the brackets on. We're going to open this formula. So we get x squared minus 2 is from the formula. Then we have x, which is the first term. Then we have 2, which is the second term, plus the second term square. Let's keep bigger brackets into this. Plus 4 into x. We'll get, actually 4x into x. We'll get 4x squared. And then 4x into minus 2. And we'll get minus 8x. Let's just keep the brackets on. Equals 0. Now, over here, we can just let it go like x squared plus 4x. But then there's still a minus over here. And for these, we're still going to need to keep them in the bracket for one more time, because we need to multiply the minus to each of these. So yeah, we have x squared, we'll get x squared minus 4x plus 4. Because 2 2's are 4, and 4 into x is 4x. Plus 4x squared minus 8x equals 0. And now when the minus multiplies with x, let's just write these first. X squared plus 4x. And then when the minus multiplies with x, we'll get minus x squared. And then when it multiplies with minus 4x, it'll be plus 4x. Because minus and minus, when they multiply, we get plus. So yeah, we get 4x plus 4x. And then it also multiplies with plus 4. And when it multiplies with plus 4, minus multiplies with plus 4, its sign will change over. Like, plus multiplied by minus, we get minus, so minus 4. And we have plus 4x squared minus 8x equals 0. And now you can see we can simplify them, right? Let's circle them together, guys. So we have 4x squared and x squared. Better yet, instead of circling, why not just underline it? 4x, 4x, and minus 8x. And we have this right here, this x squared minus x squared. And minus 4, it can't really be simplified with anything else, so we're just going to leave it at that. Now you can see that x squared and minus x squared, they can cross out. So they can cross out. We don't need to worry about that. We just have 4x squared. And now 8x and what's it called? Minus 8x actually. And 4x plus 4x will equal 8x, right? So 8x we'll get from here, from these two, simplifying these two, and then subtracting it out of minus 8x, we'll get 0x, right? So like that means that, let's do it. Let me do it on the side. So 4x plus 4x equals 8x. And then 8x minus 8x, you'll get 0x. So that means there's no more x. And you know what that means, right, guys? Because if you don't, I'll tell you right now. That means that we're going to have a pure quadratic equation. So let's see what we get out of it. Let's just cross these out. So 4x and 4x cross out with 8x. Now we have 4x squared minus 4 equals 0. So now you can see that this is what we're left with, 4x squared minus 4. And you can see that 4 is common, right? So like we're going to take 4 common and we'll get x squared minus 1. Right. Now we're going to send 4 to the other side. You can say we'll divide by 4 on both sides. And if you divide something by what's it called? If you divide 0 by something, you'll get 0. So over here you'll get 1, and that means that you just get x squared minus 1. And on the other side, because when 1 multiplies with x squared minus 1, it doesn't really make a difference. On the other side, you have 0, so that means that, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what we're left with, and now you can see that it's a pure quadratic equation. So we're gonna write it's a pure quadratic equation. And I mean, like, obviously it's in standard form. The yellow base, yeah. So let's circle it. Let's go. So it's a pure quadratic equation. Yay! Finally, one of them is a pure quadratic equation. So now let's do the next part. Let's move down a little bit, and next we have the fifth part. Oh, look at that! I forgot to switch my colors. Fifth part is x plus 3 over x plus 4 minus x minus 5 over x equals 1. So now, what are we going to do? We're going to solve the fractions. You know, we talked about this. We're going to solve the fractions on one side first for this question. So we're going to take the LCM. Basically, this is the LCM of the left side. But yeah, taking the LCM, we'll get x into x plus 4. As you can see that x is a smaller term, so we're going to write that first. So I'm just going to write this twice over here, x into x plus 4 and x into x plus 4. And I have x plus 3 equals 1 minus x minus 5 into x plus 4. So now we're going to determine what multiplies with x plus 3 and what multiplies with x minus 5. So we're going to divide first with the first denominator. When we divide with the first denominator, x and x will cross. And we'll get x plus 4. Same thing if we do over here, x into x plus 4. When we divide it by x plus 4, then x plus 4 and x plus 4 will cross, and we'll get x. So now let's multiply them. So x plus 3, that means x plus 4 will multiply with x plus 3. Oh, actually, no, wait a minute. I think we flipped it, actually, guys. We flipped it. X we were supposed to divide after, but I did first. But yeah, like it's the denominator of x minus 5. It doesn't really make a difference, except for the fact that you obviously can't multiply x plus 4 with x plus 3 because that's just going to be wrong. So you have to multiply x plus 4 over here because that's what you get. That's what you're supposed to multiply with the numerator of x. So now what we need to multiply with the numerator of x plus 4 is x. So we're going to multiply x plus 3 with x. And now let's multiply it. So when x multiplies with x, we'll get x squared. And then when it multiplies with 3, we'll get plus 3x. And then we have this minus in the middle. Let's just keep these on. Yeah, so first x multiplies with x, and we'll get x squared. Then, where should we do it from here? X multiplies with 4, and we'll get plus 4x. And then, let's use this. 5 multiplies, minus 5 multiplies with x, so we'll get minus 5x. And then, minus 5 multiplies with 4, and we'll get minus 20. So it's over x into x plus 4, and it equals 1. There's about a really big gap. Yeah, sorry about that, guys, but yeah. So now we have x squared plus 3x. Safe to come out of the brackets now. Right here. So when minus multiplies with x squared, we'll get minus x squared. When it multiplies with 4x, we'll get minus 4x. And then when it multiplies with, let's start from here. When it multiplies with minus 5 x, then we'll get like plus 5x. And when it multiplies with minus 20, minus multiplies with minus 20, we get plus 20 over x into x plus 4. So now what we need to do is first we're gonna like we're gonna solve this. We're gonna like simplify this, but we're also gonna like get rid of the denominator. So solving this first, we can simplify x squared and minus x squared. And you know where that is going. They're just going to go away, and there's no x squared for now. Doesn't look like it actually. And then let's take this. So the x terms, 3x minus 4x and 5x, we're going to simplify them, and 20 is just, you know, single for life. So yeah. So we cross that out, and we have minus 4x and 5x. When we 5 minus 4, what you get? You get 1. 1 you add into 3x, you'll get 4x plus 20 over x into x plus 4 equals 1. And now what we're gonna do, what we want to do is that like we want to multiply x into x plus 4 on both sides so that we get rid of it in the denominator, and we get it moving again. Like we start actually solving the equation. We're not just stuck with a denominator, right? So we're gonna write over here multiply with x. Should use blue. X into x plus 4 on both sides, and doing so we'll get 4x plus 20 over x into x plus 4. Let's just put a bigger bracket, and into x plus 4 equals 1. Oh, look at that. 1 into x plus 4. And now you can see that we'll over here, obviously these are going to cross, so we're going to cross them. Actually, let's put a line up. There you go. So yeah, let's write 4x plus 20 over here equals, now we'll multiply 1 into x first, so we get x into x plus 4. And now we're going to multiply x with x. So this is just going to come like it is, 4x plus 20 equals x squared. And then let's use different color. X into 4 plus 4, then we'll get plus 4x. And now, as you can see, the x squared is on the right side, so that means that we want to get rid of, not like rid, you could say like we want all the terms on the side that x squared is on, because x squared is positive right now. So yeah, we're going to move everything. Let's use this. I'm going to move everything to the other side, and we'll get 0 on this side, and we'll get equals 0 equals x squared plus 4x. And then x 4x, when it goes to the other side, its sign will change, so it'll become minus 4x. And then plus 20, it's positive right now, so when it goes to the other side, it's also going to be negative, so it's going to be negative minus 20, basically, you could say. And yeah, again, we can write it on any side. The 0, it doesn't really matter, because as long as when you add them up, they cross out, you get 0. So again, you can see over here that there's no b, or like there's no x actually, because there is b, but like it's 0. So I mean, there is no x technically. And yeah, there's no x. So you know what that means, don't you guys? Because that means that this is another one of those equations, the pure quadratic equations. So we're going to write one tick for standard form. Yes, it is in standard form. And another tick for a pure quadratic equation. Let me just write it. A pure quadratic equation.
That's it for this video, guys. I hope it was helpful. I hope it built your concept. If you have any questions or confusions, leave them in the comments, and drop a like if you enjoyed this video and if it helped you, and share it with everybody that you know, whoever you think it'd be suitable for, like whoever it helped. I mean, a little bit of knowledge never hurt anybody anyway, right? Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and as always, peace out.